Good morning, my dear YouTube friends. Today, I am continuing my journey eastwards to the port city of Trincomalee, on the northeastern coast of Sri Lanka. But I have been urgently advised to make a stopover in Mihintale, a very important and sacred mountain peak, near to Anuradhapura, and also on my way to Trincomalee. It is believed by the Sri Lankans to be the site of a meeting between the Buddhist monk Mahinda and King Devanampiya Tissa. And since I need a bit of time to cover the 12 kilometers from Anuradhapura to Mihintale, let me dive a bit into the history of this sacred mountain place. A very long time back, we are talking here of a time span of over 2,230 years ago, the area of Mihintale was surrounded by very dense and lush jungle. The only visible landmarks were the sacred forest mountain range of Misaka Pabatha and the nearby rock boulders. Naturally, to this area, it also had many caves, which were used by monks for meditation, because this area was away from the busy city of Anuradhapura, and therefore much more ideal for their daily meditations. I further learned that this is the site of the first meeting between the Buddhist monk, called Mahinda, and King Devanampiya Tissa, the ruler of the kingdom at the time. A meeting that inspired the king to embrace Buddhism, and encouraged his countrymen to do so as well. And so it is thought that this was the start of Buddhism, here on the island of Sri Lanka. And as of today, Mihintale is now one of the most revered places by Buddhists across the entire island of Sri Lanka, and also to be considered one of the most important sacred Buddhist places. Let's start with the foot of the mountain, and next to the car park. Here we can see the ruins of a hospital, which was built by the King Sena, the second king of Anuradhapura. He ruled between the year of 866 to the year of 901 Anno Domini. The ground plan is indicating a medical hall, consisting of separate rooms that are set in rows. The existence of this hospital complex was recorded also by a Chinese pilgrim called Bhikshu Fa Shin, who visited Sri Lanka in the 5th century Anno Domini. And so, this is also a testimony to the social values of the Sinhalese Buddhists and their advanced state of the Ayurvedically medical science here during the ancient time of Sri Lanka. Now let's go up, and in order to reach the top, we need to climb the Great Stone Stairway, which is approximately 1,840 granite steps. The granite rock was carved and paved all the way up to the 311-meter high peak. And here, let me get a bit deeper into the historical details. Hopefully I get this right. I read that it was somewhere in the year of 247 before Christ. It was a time of great expansionist wars that was creating great misery and a lot of devastation. It was also the time of King Ashoka the Great, and he was the third Mauryan emperor of Magadha, up on the Indian subcontinent. At that time, King Ashoka ruled over a large part of the Indian subcontinent. It is said that it stretched from the present day of Afghanistan, in the west, to Bangladesh in the east. The capital city at the time was called Pataliputra, which is now the city of Patna, in the Indian state of Bihar. King Ashoka embraced Buddhism after he was inspired by a young and peaceful monk named Nigrita. This meeting was a turning point in King Ashoka's life. He thereafter renounced war and was determined to change his life and started to spread the message of peace by becoming a supporter of Buddhism. As of today, he is credited with playing an important role in spreading the words of Buddhism across the ancient Asian continent. So as a result, both his son and his daughter were ordained as Buddhist monastics and became enlightened Arhats. In his quest to spread the message of peace, King Ashoka the Great sent his son Mahinda to the island of Sri Lanka, which at that time was ruled by King Devanampiya Tissa, a friend of King Ashoka. And that's how King Devanampiya Tissa met Arhat Mahinda Thera, here in the sacred forest mountains of Misaka in what is now called Mihintale. It is also noteworthy to mention that Arhat Mahinda had supernormal power and could rise up into the air. And according to ancient writings, he was departing from Vedasagiri, a mountain situated in Majjhimadesa, and located somewhere in the middle of the ancient India, and safely alighted here in Mihintale on the Misaka hill, the loftiest peak overlooking the city of Anuradhapura. Moreover, it also has been said that prior to this time, the Venerable Lord Gautama Buddha had visited this place on his third visit to Sri Lanka. And since Mihintale, being one of these 16 solos Masthana places Lord Buddha visited, it is therefore, and until today, regarded as one of the most important and sacred places here, on the island of Sri Lanka, by the Buddhists all over the world. Now, in the very early time, the Mihintale monastery established itself as a retreat for the Buddhist monks during the rainy season. And it is said that the meaning of Mihintale in the Sinhala language means, it is the Plateau of Mahinda, where Arhat Mahinda was supposed to have called King Devanampiya Tissa by the king's name, and asked the king to stop shooting a deer. Hence, the name Mihintale, which is a very specific Sinhala term, was born. And since ancient times, we still can see the large steps that were constructed to climb the hill of Mihintale. And it is said that it was King Devanampiya Tissa who ordered these steps to be built, in addition of a monastery and 68 caves for the Buddhist monks to have shelter and to reside in. And so Mihintale gradually gained more importance, and also witnessed a growing number of Buddhist and religious houses in a period that was once perceived as the beginning of Buddhism here in Sri Lanka. Now, sadly to say, with the decline of the ancient kingdoms of Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa in the 10th century, Anno Domini, most of the Solos Masthana places, and therefore also Mihintale, were abandoned. And it was not until the 20th century that all of them received the attention of the Buddhist community worldwide and also here in Sri Lanka, and were once again renovated and re-erected to almost its former glory. I hope you liked my small summary of this amazing place called Mihintale. Should I have made any errors, please do let me know down here in the comments section. For now, continue my journey towards the city of Trincomalee, the ancient trading port that started as a settlement for Indo-Aryan immigrants. By the way, the name Trincomalee comes from the Tamil words Trincomalee, which means the Lord of the Sacred Hill, so, not surprisingly, Trincomalee is also known as the Sacred Hill of the Three Temples.
so lush.
After an interesting visit to Mihintale, and a long drive on the Anuradhapura to Trincomalee highway, I just now reached my guest house. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next episode, where I will explore the interesting port city of Trincomalee. Don't miss it. Thanks for subscribing, and see you back in my next episode of Sri Lanka Uncovered.